The ancient sages once said, "The moment you lose your temper, you've already lost." Because when you can't control your emotions, you lose control over your life. Even Napoleon, one of history's greatest military leaders, once remarked, "A man who can control his emotions is greater than one who can conquer a city." Before we can accomplish anything truly great, we must first learn to govern what goes on inside of us. But let's be honest, mastering our emotions isn't easy. On the outside, many of us seem composed, weathered by life. But sometimes, all it takes is a small trigger, an insult, a misunderstanding, and we erupt. Anger takes the wheel. Clarity vanishes. Judgment fades. Reason slips away. The truth is, anger doesn't solve problems, it multiplies them. And in its grip, we lose not only our peace, but connection to others, and to our higher self. Controlling your anger isn't weakness. It's quiet strength. It's choosing wisdom over impulse, peace over pride. And that kind of strength changes everything. History gives us countless reminders. Take the story of Zhang Fei, a legendary general from ancient China. Brave. Loyal. Fierce. But with one fatal flaw, his temper. When his sworn brother, Guan Yu, was killed, grief turned to rage. He drowned his sorrow in wine, lashed out at his own men, and that same night, while drunk and defenseless, he was killed by those who once served him. Not by enemies, but by the storm inside his own heart. And while most of us won't face such dramatic consequences, the truth remains. Every time we let anger lead, we risk harming not only ourselves, but those closest to us. People begin to avoid you. Relationships grow cold. And in the moments you need connection the most, you may find yourself alone. Unchecked anger invites regret. But patience? Patience creates space, for growth, for understanding, for grace. Because real strength isn't in how loudly you roar. It's in how calmly you respond. Letting anger take root is like setting fire to your own house, hoping the smoke will reach someone else. Eastern medicine teaches that anger stirs the internal winds, disrupting the balance within us. Modern science agrees, chronic anger raises blood pressure, weakens the immune system, shortens your life. But beyond the physical damage, it robs you of joy. Of sleep. Of peace. There's a well-known Taoist story. A man once traveled hundreds of miles just to insult the sage Lao Tzu. He shouted, mocked, even called him a rat. But Lao Tzu remained unmoved. Calm. The next day, the man returned in shame. Lao Tzu simply smiled and said, "Titles like sage or fool don't define me. Your words are yours, not mine to carry. I let them pass, like wind over water." What if we could do the same? The world doesn't need more people shouting to be heard. It needs more people who can hold their peace when storms rise. We think anger makes us powerful. But peace is what makes us unshakable. If anger is a flame, forgiveness is the breeze that puts it out. In a culture that rewards retaliation, forgiveness may look like weakness. But those who've truly forgiven, know otherwise. It takes far more strength to let go than to hold on. The Buddha once said, "Forgiveness is the greatest gift, not just to others, but to ourselves." Because every moment we carry resentment, we carry the weight of the past. And how can we move forward with hands full of old wounds? There's another story from ancient China. A tax officer once raised his sword at a poor woodcutter who couldn't pay. But as he prepared to strike, he saw a sleeping child, wearing the officer's old, discarded coat. In that moment, he saw not a debtor, but a father, just like himself. He lowered his sword. That pause, between anger and action, changed everything. And that's all it takes sometimes. A pause. A breath. A moment of clarity in the chaos. Because when we stop letting anger write our story, something powerful happens. We begin to live, not from reaction, but from intention. We begin to speak, not to wound, but to understand. And we begin to lead, not with fear, but with compassion. No, we won't always avoid anger. But we can meet it differently. With awareness. With patience. With strength. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean becoming emotionless. It means becoming emotionally wise. Knowing that the loudest voice isn't always the strongest. And that true power doesn't come from striking back, but from rising above. So the next time you feel anger rising, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this reaction serving me, or stealing my peace? In that pause, you reclaim your power. You create space for choice. And in that space, lives your freedom. Because while anger may feel like fire, peace is the ground beneath your feet. It holds you steady when the winds of life blow hardest. And in a world that rewards outrage, it is still the calm soul. The one who carries grace through chaos. That quietly transforms everything. So choose peace. Not because it's easy, but because it's powerful. And because the world needs more of it, starting with you. If this video moved you, even in the smallest way, leave a comment below and let me know. What helps you stay calm in the storm? I read every response, and your words might inspire someone else, too. Don't forget to like, share, or subscribe if you'd like more reflections like this. Because the world needs more voices for peace. And maybe, together, we can be one of them.